Hello! So in this video, we're going to be looking at how to complete the distortion grid practice activity. So you'll want to have a pencil and an eraser, and it works really well if you can print out this sheet. But if you can't, you can just draw a distorted grid similar to what you see at the bottom of the sheet. So now I'm just going to get right into it. So I'm going to use the grid as a guideline for where certain parts of the letter should be. So I just kind of marked off where the top and the bottom of the I should be within the grid. But because my bottom grid there is distorted, I would then draw the I following the distorted grid rather than the straight grid. So I'm going to zoom out again so you can see the reference image at the top with the straight grid. So I'm now just kind of doing little dots to show myself where the different parts of the N should go. And I'm looking at where they cross the grid. So I can see that that little swoosh at the bottom of the N crosses in the top part of the second square, like the bottom square. And so I'm using that as a reference for where I am drawing mine. And then I'm kind of warping the letters based on the warped grid that I have. So if a line is straight, then it would follow the vertical line on the grid, which is not straight in many cases. So basically, I'm just doing my best to replicate that word in the bottom grid, but distorting it according to the way that the bottom grid is distorted. I know sometimes it's hard to see what I'm drawing. My hand is kind of going over top of the drawing. So I'm going to sort of just allow you to watch the whole process and compare the top and the bottom letters. And this definitely isn't perfect, but it's just kind of like an example of how this process will work. And I strongly suggest doing this as a practice before you do your distorted grid drawing, because it gives you an idea of how it works to draw with a distorted grid. In the case where it's kind of like a low stakes thing, because it doesn't need to be perfect, it's just for practice. So give it a try, and like I said, looking at the place where the letters intersect the grid is kind of like the key thing that I use when I'm doing this type of distorted grid drawing. All right, so I've done the INS. Now I'm going to do the PIRE, but I'm going to do a time lapse. So the time lapse portion of the video, this whole thing took me probably about half an hour to 45 minutes. Probably about half an hour to complete. And I'm shading in the letters just so you can see them better, but that part is optional. You do not need to do that. And here is the final product. And like I said, it's not perfect, but the letters are warping according to the distorted grid. Thanks for watching.